Let's move into Lacey's Lutes. Lacey, who did you talk to this week?
This week, I had the opportunity to talk to Kiana Calles. She is a junior setter on the women's volleyball team. Kiana is from Skagit Valley Community College, and we're going to find out the third thing that she is able to juggle. She is a student, she is an athlete, and she is also has another priority that she puts first in her life. I am here with Kiana Calles. She is a junior setter on the women's volleyball team. Calles came from Skagit Valley, and she is a student here at PLU. And something that is incredible about Kiana is that she is a student athlete, but she is also a mother. So we're going to hear a little bit about that. I want to start by asking Kiana, what is your major?
I'm majoring in kinesiology, pre-physical therapy intent.
Okay, and what do you plan to do with that later on?
My goal is, after I'm done at PLU, to apply for the physical therapy assistant program up at Whatcom Community College, and hopefully get into the program, and then from there become a PTA, find a steady job, and then be able to support Ellie.
Right. Okay, so Ellie is your daughter's name, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And how old is she?
She just turned 3 in September.
Great. And so I guess how is it balancing 3 different lifestyles of being an athlete, a student, and a mom?
Sometimes it gets hectic, and there are definitely days where I want to be selfish and not do homework and just want to hang out with Ellie, but I've learned to really take advantage of when she's taking naps or when she's occupied with something, to really do my homework or do studying or whatever. But she's reaching the age where she understands that mom has homework or mom has to go to school. So, if I have to tell her, hey, Elle, mom has to do homework, go play with your toys, she totally understands that, so it's kind of nice. And then my parents are really supportive, and before I committed to PLU, we had, a huge sit-down with my parents, and, we just discussed the whole long-term plan and whatnot, and so we're all on board.
Okay, so do your parents, you mentioned your parents, are they kind of the people that take care of her while you're at practice and in class?
My grandma is the primary caretaker of Ellie when I am in school and at practice.
Okay. But
my parents help out when they can because my mom works, my dad works.
So how often are you able to see her every day?
I FaceTime her at least 2-3 times a day, and then I go home on the weekends, almost every weekend, or if I have a home game like this weekend, they come down and watch me. So. Okay,
So you don't see her every day, not necessarily?
No.
Okay, so are you living here on campus then?
I am living with some family friends, over in Milton, so 15 minutes away. And then I go home, usually I've gone home almost every Sunday. Or if my sister can come down, she'll bring her down too. So.
Oh wow, that must be really challenging for you as a mom. So is there anything that you and your daughter do? Is there a specific book that you love reading or an activity that you guys love doing together?
She actually loves coming to volleyball.
Yeah.
Anything related to volleyball. It's funny, on her, my days off or whatever, she'll be like, oh, are we going to go to volleyball? And not today, which is funny, but she pretty much grew up in a gym. And so she loves hanging out in the gym and whatnot.
Yeah. Cool. So my next question was, is she a fan of volleyball? And clearly she is. That's awesome. So is she ever able to sit in on practices at your community college or here? How did the coaches kind of react to it?
So when I went to Skagit Valley, my dad is actually the head coach at Skagit.
Okay.
And so Ellie would come to almost all of our practices, and she would just run around. She became acclimated to a gym, and she understood don't run onto the court, or else you're gonna get hit type of thing. I haven't had to bring her to practice quite yet at PLU, even though before I committed to PLU, I let Kevin know. I was hey, I have a daughter, and he was that's fine. He's if you ever need to bring her to practice, go on and bring her. So I haven't had to do that yet, but maybe in the near future.
Yeah. Well, I know that does he have 2 sons?
Yes.
And he brings them to practice often, so
yes, yeah.
That's fun. All right, well, thank you so much for your time. You play Linfield and Pacific this weekend at home, kind of switching over to the volleyball side of things. What are you guys expecting out of those two games?
We've talked about it a lot this week, especially coming off of our heartbreaker loss last week against Whitworth. Is in our conference, whoever shows up that day will get that win, and that's really what we're focusing on is showing up every single game and focusing every single game, and keeping our heads on straight, because sometimes we get kind of erratic, or we let other things influence our attitudes on the court, off the court, and so we've been really working this week to really rein in the focus.
Awesome. All right, well, good luck this weekend, and thank you for your time.
Welcome back here. We're going to talk about that interview for a little bit right now.
Guys, can you imagine having a child while also juggling sports and school?
No.
Yeah, no.
Not even a little bit.
It's just the thought, I think about how stressed I get with basketball and schoolwork, and to have that added on top, I think would stress me out. But I was also thinking, I should have asked Kiana this, but maybe Ellie, her daughter, is what kind of motivates her and drives her to get through each week, because she sees her only on weekends, which it also must be extremely difficult. But maybe that's what really gets her through each week. But to be so dedicated to the sport, to volleyball, she's playing at the college level with a child.
It's kind of when do you have time? Think about our schedules, Lacey, for a second. Just morning workouts, then you go to class all day, then you go practice or open gym or whatever you may have, minus your own individual work that you're doing outside of that, plus homework, plus studying. Yeah. Well, at what point can you take care of a kid? That's crazy.
Yeah.
She must never sleep. She just must never sleep. She must be a cyborg or something. We just don't know.
Well,
she plays like it.
She gives a lot of credit to her family for helping her out. She said it would not be possible without her grandma, who's the caregiver of her child when she's not there. And then her parents are just so supportive of what she's doing, which is great.
Which is cool, because it still allows her to be 19 years old and play sports in college and all that stuff. So nicely done by her family to help her out in a situation that would, to others, be too intimidating to tackle, for sure.